Hey guys, Dave here. Back from the store again. Got a lot of positive feedback on the little two-part series I did on the grocery store run. This time we went to Trader Joe's. So we've got some things here that I wasn't able to show you the other day. Still got, the usual staples: almond milk, organic vegetables, organic eggs, and all the other good stuff that I showed you last week. But we got some other stuff that isn't available at the grocery store, at least not the way I like it. One of my absolute favorite snacks is hummus. For those of you who are not familiar with hummus, it's basically ground up garbanzo beans and a little bit of seasoning. This one's got some pine nuts and like paprika or something on the top. And it is delicious. My favorite one is the Mediterranean hummus from Trader Joe's. Hummus per serving, 2 tablespoons of hummus works out to be about 4 grams of fat, 6 grams of carbs, 3 grams of protein. For me, that's pretty much an ideal mix. Maybe a little high in carbs, although with the triathlon training I'm doing right now, my diet has more carbs in it than it otherwise would. So a great snack. What I like to do with the hummus is dip vegetables in it. A lot of people use it with chips, and that is not something I like to do because the chips are just kind of wasted calories, honestly. I mean, they're pretty empty. But good old veggies are dense in micronutrients, and that's why we love them. And Trader Joe's has these great little bags of pre-cut, pre-washed, ready-to-go veggies. This one is carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower. And back in the days when I was in the office all the time, this was a pretty regular lunch for me. Probably once a week, go and buy a little tub of hummus, bag of veggies, eat about half of it, package it up, eat half of it the next day, and I will try and post a link to our message boards where I've got a breakdown of the nutrients in that and kind of what that looks like from a caloric perspective as well. Great snack, one of my favorites. The other thing we got, a couple other things that we got, I don't know if I showed avocados last time. Avocados are another thing that we always get, and the reason there is the fat content. With avocados, you get really good, healthy fats. Also, trail mix. Got some trail mix. This is a cashew, macadamia nut, almond nut mix with a little bit of dried fruit in it. Also bought some more almonds. Always have almonds on hand. Again, great way to get more fat in your diet. And I think that if there's any sort of downfall in the P90X plan or drawback, maybe it's that it is a little too low in fats. I think that from my perspective, you want to have a higher fat content. Probably, I'd say my current fat content is probably around 30%. And if you teach your body how to burn fat, it becomes a very efficient fuel source. And that has certainly been the case for me. I mean, I've noticed over the last probably about 4 months now where I've increased my fat intake through eggs, through avocados, through eating more nuts, and things like coconut oil. And if you're interested in looking at coconut oil, a lot of people get scared because it's fairly high in saturated fats. The saturated fats in coconut oil are actually good for you. And if you want more information about coconut oil, I would check out marksdailyapple.com. That's Mark Sisson's nutritional blog, one of my absolute favorite resources. Coconut oil is great. I use it with eggs. I use it for my eggs. It tastes a lot better than olive oil or any of those other oils, most of which I don't use. But also with stuff like this is just cubed, again from Trader Joe's, cubed butternut squash. And you take a little bit of the coconut oil, a little bit of this, some peppers and onions, mix them up with a little bit of water, and let it simmer for a long time. The squash takes a while to cook. And it's really good. It's kind of a stew. So here is how I cook the butternut squash. So basically what I've got here is pretty simple. It's that cubed butternut squash that I just showed you, some peppers, some onions, and there are a few carrots in there, believe it or not. And basically what I did is I just took some coconut oil and let them cook in the coconut oil for a minute, and then just added some water into the saucepan. And so what happens is the water just sort of naturally boils down, you cover it, and after a while you get this sort of stew, and I'll show that in just a sec. Okay, we're back. So I've been letting this simmer on pretty low heat, and you can see the consistency of it kind of once the water boils down, and you cover it so the steam cooks a lot of this stuff, but you can see the water, just kind of simmer it, and the water will boil down, and you'll get this kind of almost like a stew type of consistency to it. Really, really good. So that's just squash, and you always know it's done because the squash takes a long time to cook, but it gets kind of soft and mushy like that. It just mashes it up. And it's rock hard when you first put it in there. So, I think I cooked it for about a half an hour. Not sure you need to cook it necessarily that long, but, I like to really let it boil down so it gets to about that consistency. Good little meal there, very healthy. Again, very, very dense in micronutrients, very, very healthy for you. If you're somebody who does want to have a lot of carbs in your diet, if you're looking at the foods that I've got in front of me here, the vegetables, for example, let's see, 3 ounces of vegetables is 5 carbs. So you can get a fair amount of carbs in your diet through eating things like fruits and vegetables. You want to be careful with the sugar content, and you might want to look at the glycemic index of some of those foods before you dive in too deep with those. But my recommendation to people is always try and get your carbs from fruits and vegetables. It's definitely doable. I don't eat a lot of pasta. I don't eat a lot of bread. I burn between 1,000 and sometimes 2,000 calories when I work out doing this triathlon endurance training. And I don't find that I need to eat those types of foods to get my carbs because I'm getting them from things like fruits and vegetables that, in addition to having good carbohydrates in them, are also really, really dense in micronutrients, things like vitamins, which my body tends to need, and everybody's body really does need too. So think about that a little bit, backing off of the bread and the pasta, getting into some fresh vegetables. Good stuff there. So anyway, as always, if you have questions, please shoot me an email, dave@thefitclubnetwork.com. Otherwise, I hope everybody's doing well and eating right. Thanks.